Well, our philosophy is let's help every single e-commerce website in the world become the WebMD of their industry.
We also leverage those ratings and reviews on your website so that you can increase your social proof, trust, and ultimately your conversion and sales.
And we're not trying to manipulate, we're trying to facilitate. Because the reality is people want to make a decision. People want to buy things. That's why they're there.
Hey everyone, it's Tamara Thompson with Broadcast Your Authority, and we're here for another episode, and I'm super grateful for our guests that have flown in today from Utah. We're all currently in Vegas, and I have some amazing co-hosts with me this season, which you'll meet here shortly. But today we're actually going to be talking with them about their company, Shopper Approved. We have the CEO and the CMO joining us today. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I'm so excited that you flew in this morning, right?
Yep.
Awesome. Well, we have Scott, you're the CEO and the founder, basically, of Shopper Approved and TrustGuard. And you're the co-author of Reputation King. And I think you guys actually brought a copy of the book that you guys can show today, too. That's awesome. Perfect. Yeah, we're going to learn more about that, too. Over the course of his 26-year career online, Scott has helped to architect and build over 40 different software products and services. And in 2006, one of his first software companies became a driving force behind StomperNet, one of the largest internet launches in history. He is also the co-author of multiple books and is a Cialdini certified ethical influence practitioner. That's a mouthful. That's an awesome name, though. And coach, and has received behavioral design certifications from the MindWorks Academy and the Online Influence Institute. So you have quite the track record there. So I'm excited to have you here as well. And DJ Sprague, as a CMO for Shopper Approved and the co-author of Reputation King, he regularly presents webinars in SEO and SRO for Search Engine Journal, Search Engine Land, Search Marketing Expo, and Practical E-commerce. He's got over 30 years experience in enterprise sales, marketing, advertising, and PR, both on the agency and client side, online and offline, including Fortune 500 global brands such as Toyota, Hyundai, Kodak, and JD Power, as well as sports brands, including the NBA, which is awesome. I love the NBA. That was my dream, to be in the WNBA, and it didn't happen. Really? I'm here instead. MLS and NASCAR. He is also certified as well with the Cialdini Certified Ethical Influence Practitioner and Coach, and has received behavioral design certifications from the Online Influence Institute, the Behavioral Design Academy, and the MindWorks Academy as well. So thank you guys so much for joining us today and flying out and taking the time to join us. Thank you.
Our pleasure.
Now the
Thank
podcast is over.
I was like, that was an amazing introduction.
Amazing.
And well, first off, you guys are experts at what you do. You've started this company, Shopper Approved. Tell us, first off, what is Shopper Approved and what does it do for your clients?
Sure. So Shopper Approved is an online rating and review platform. We launched it in 2010. So we're one of the oldest and largest online review platforms in the world. And we just help businesses collect ratings and reviews, put them on their website, get them in as many places as possible online. So when you go do a search in Google or Bing and you see star ratings next to a listing, we're one of a handful of companies that have the partnerships in place to be able to do that. And then finally, we also leverage those ratings and reviews on your website so that you can increase your social proof, trust, and ultimately your conversion and sales.
That's awesome. How important are reviews? For an online store specifically, is it worth the hassle? I wouldn't call it a hassle, but obviously it takes time to set that up.
It's critical, actually. I'm going to go through some data points to just tell you how critical that is. A 2021 study done with 6,538 U.S. adults found that 98% of adults consider reviews an essential resource when making an online purchase decision. We followed that up in 2022 with our own study of 600 U.S. adults and found that 69% look at reviews always or most of the time when considering an online purchase. The Spiegel Research Center at the Northwestern University did their own study that predated both of ours, and they found that product reviews will increase conversion rate online by 380%, particularly on higher priced items. So the higher the price, the more risk, the more social proof or reviews they want. Google has said in their Decoding Decisions research in 2020, they said that reviews are the gold standard for social proof. Social proof is one of the Dr. Cialdini influence principles in his famous book, Influence.
Makes sense.
And then there's another study that says that if you have stars in your ads, you will increase the click-through rate by 10 to 35%. What that does is it increases your Google ad quality score, which means you can reduce your bid rate because your ad is going to be served at the top regardless because you have a high quality score. So you can save money and make more money because you're getting more traffic and click-throughs. And then there's a last data point, a meta-analysis of over 6,700 e-commerce studies that found there's 5 critical criteria to driving conversion consistently and repeatedly. In order of revenue lift, they are scarcity, which means a scarce supply of that product, followed by social proof, which is reviews, followed by urgency, limited time. We see this in travel sites all the time, right? So many rooms, so much time available, followed by shopping cart recapture, followed by product recommendations. So those are the top 5 strategies that consistently and reliably increase conversion rate on a website. So obviously we play in that social proof review space. So ultimately what reviews do for any website and all websites is they improve all of your marketing metrics from click-through rates, conversion rates, average order value, customer lifetime value, traffic, and SEO. And a lot of people don't realize that reviews are part and parcel to a search engine optimization strategy because Google loves reviews and they love trust. So they have an algorithm called EAT, experience, expertise, authority, and trust, and reviews are part of that trust algorithm. So when you have Google qualified reviews, your search results are going to raise higher up in the organic search results. So it's a mouthful, but there are so many ways that reviews improve your overall business performance and all of your ad performance that you'd be remiss, you'd be really foolish not to have that social proof in your ads and on your website.
So excuse me for my ignorance. I'm very not tech at all, not techie savvy. So your company helps write the reviews, or your company, what exactly is it?
Software?
Yeah, so it's a software.
Okay.
Software as a service. So businesses, e-commerce companies pay us as the review platform to collect reviews on their behalf. So when you go to a website and you check out, we have a 2-step review process. So right after you buy, we have a little thing that pops up that asks for some feedback about your initial purchase. So how well was the shopping experience up to that point? And then we also ask some additional questions like, why did you buy from this company? Right? Okay. Because they haven't got the product yet, so they can't really answer that product specifically. But we can collect that buyer intent.
Okay, got it.
And that's really important because because we can take that information and we can put that on the front end because everybody wants to know why other people buy. So we can leverage information like that. And we can also collect private information that the company wants to collect on that initial survey. And then once they actually get the product, we send a follow-up survey with additional questions like how satisfied were you with the shipping? How satisfied were you with the product overall? And different things like that. And then we take that information and through the partnerships that we have with Google and Bing and Walmart and Facebook and Twitter and all of these different assets, we send those reviews out into the world so that people can find you. And that just adds, trust and authority to the listings where they find you.
Yeah, it's amazing. That's a lot of information.
Do you still have
personal, right?
Do you still have an e-commerce site dealing with clothing lines?
No. Yes, I separated from that company.
Okay.
Yes,
I was curious because that could have been a example
Ac-
of how you could use that with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. We'll have to maybe get in more details about that.
I've got
that's very
a
interesting.
two-parter for you. So anybody that studied marketing in the last 30 years is going to be very familiar with Robert Cialdini's work, both in influence and in persuasion, the books, right? So I'm curious, as you guys, I think this would be valuable to other founders, small business owners, as they're constructing their go-to market strategy and how they're going to market their company. How did, studying and understanding like psychology and influence and persuasion factor in when you guys were coming up with the strategy to make sure that your SaaS, your software as a service, was very successful? So that's part number one. And then part number two is you're highlighting the importance of reviews, and whether people choose to come, work with you guys or not. What's your best practices around how they can be harvesting and asking for and guiding those reviews? So, one of my funding companies that did startup loans, we would actually grab these reviews. I noticed that if we didn't coach them a little bit, and I don't want to like lead the witness too much, right? But if we didn't kind of guide them the right way, we didn't always get the reviews that were the most reusable, other than, Kurt, the team changed my life. Okay. you want to give us a little bit more.
Elaborate,
So
yeah.
I'm curious about that.
So the first part, Dr. Cialdini, persuasion, influence, famous books. Influence obviously is one of the most famous. Behavioral science, behavioral design. And he has 7 principles in influence, one of which is social proof. And to address your question specifically, we look at our products and we look at them from a perspective of behavioral design or
Awesome.
influence,
Love
behavioral
it.
science. And that's why Scott and I wanted to get so deeply ingrained in the science of behavior, the science of decision-making, the science of persuasion versus influence, the 2 books. And we've put together a whole process to do that. So for example, as a result of doing that research, we said, well, what if we put that social proof above the fold in the hero image after looking at a lot of studies and doing our own experimentation, because you have milliseconds to collect trust, to gain trust, credibility, authority, right? Otherwise, people bounce.
Yeah.
We know the bounce rate is very high.
Stick.
We know that most e-commerce websites convert about 1.9% of all the visitors that come. Less than 2% typically actually buy something. Why? There's multiple friction points along the way. We call it the conversion path. There's concern, there's doubt, there's security issues. There's, do they have the right product, the right price, the best price? Do I trust this website? Do I trust this product? Do I trust this transaction? All kinds of questions going through subconsciously in the consumer's mind. So what we did is we took that social proof and put it in what we call the trust bar at the top of the fold on the website. And in that trust bar is the total number of seller ratings, because that's the number of people that have rated the website itself, with the average star rating, with the percentage of people that recommend that website, with another value proposition. So for example, it might say 5,328 people have reviewed this website. They've given an average 4.7 star rating, and 94% of people would recommend buying from this website. That's very powerful social proof.
Can you walk us through the conscious part of what's happening to the buyer and the subconscious part that's happening in this? Because that's what behavioral science is really all about, right?
Absolutely. So the conscious part is I'm looking for credibility. I'm looking for trust signals, right? We call these trust signals or trust badges. So that's the conscious part. People want to make sure that they're working with a credible company, a credible website, because let's face it, a website is not a brick and mortar store. You can just walk in and say, hey, I have a problem with this. So you really have to have a lot of trust in that e-commerce experience. So that's what's happening consciously. Subconsciously, social proof. We always want to do what other people have done. So if we see that this is a popular site, a popular product, a popular online store, and that 5,328 people have bought from it, I have a lot more trust in that store subconsciously through social proof, because as you know, a lot of behavioral design is subconscious. It's psychology. Dr. Kahneman, in his famous book, Thinking Fast and Slow, says that people make 95% of the decisions subconsciously.
The reptilian brain.
Reptilian brain, system 1. There's
Yep.
system 1 thinking and system 2 thinking. System 2 thinking is 5% or less of your decision making. It's conscious, it's specific, you're weighing and balancing your decision. But basically 95%, and other studies have found up to 98% of your decisions are subconscious system one. So what we're trying to do there is give them that system one reflex. I trust it, social proof, credible, likable. Okay, I'm going to continue my journey until there's a major friction point. And anytime there's a major friction point, that's where people bounce.
And Danny also came up with FOMO with Amos Tversky. They won the Nobel Peace Prize for that.
Yep.
Really, really cool.
Yep.
And cognitive biases as well.
Exactly. Kahneman is genius, as is Dr. Cialdini. And they've really delved into the decision-making process and the psychology, conscious and subconscious, most of course, which is subconscious. So we like to really dive into that and say, how can we tap into what's already happening? What's the script that's happening below the surface in the subconscious mind that we can facilitate? Now, we're not trying to manipulate. We're trying to facilitate, because the reality is people want to make a decision. People want to buy things. That's why they're there.
Yeah.
They want a solution. They want the product. They want the benefit. They want the result. They're not wasting their time because they don't want to buy something. We're simply trying to facilitate that decision.
Or it's like a nudge, like Richard Thaler came up with after studying Danny Kahneman. Yeah.
Yep. BJ Fogg,
Yeah.
Kahneman, Cialdini, kind of the big names in behavioral science or behavioral design.
What I hear that you're doing is really streamlining the decision process. So people minimizing that confusion and getting stuck in their own little indecisive bubble, which costs a sale.
Exactly.
Right. But it aids, I'm on the right track. I'm making the right decision. And yeah, people
That's
like
right.
to do what other people are doing, but that confidence in their yes is what I'm hearing you're helping facilitate.
That's exactly right. Joseph Sugarman, if you're familiar with him, great copywriter, blue blocker sunglasses. His analogy was sales and marketing is really a slide. You want to get people at the top of that slide and down to the bottom as fast as possible. And you want to grease that slide and remove the friction so that people complete the process.
Give them a push at the top.
Give them a push if you need to. But
Gentle nudge.
gentle nudge. But that's really what it's about. And we do want to buy things. We just want to feel confident in our decision.
When you want to tell people what to say, right? Because you want the best reviews possible, but you also want it to be authentic.
Absolutely.
And so what we found is, and what Google forces us to do as a partner, is we can't incentivize. And so that's one of the reasons why we use that 2-part review process, because we want to engage them as quickly as possible right after they buy, but it also hooks them so that they want to complete that loop when they get the product. So then they can, and by combining those two pieces of data together into one review, it does create a more fuller answer, and more data points. So when people go to find information about that company, they can see, how satisfied they were on different levels. The other part of your question that you didn't really ask, but there's 3 different types of reviews online, and you can't incentivize seller ratings or reviews about the company, and you can't incentivize product reviews. Well, you're not supposed to, but you can incentivize video reviews. And so you can guide them by asking them certain questions when they do leave a product video, and you can give an incentive for that. So
that's
it's
interesting.
kind of there's.
If you were to coach a small business owner that's going to be collecting reviews, what would be the 3 major things you're like, keep this in mind, based on the fact you guys have done this now hundreds of thousands of times?
Yeah. So what we've done, we've tried to simplify system 1, right? Where we try to collect all 3 types of reviews in one survey. And there's a lot of strategy built in there. But we kind of lead them through this path once they're in the funnel, right? The review funnel, in order to try to collect as much feedback as we can. So we kind of take that thinking, that process out of it for the business owner. We collect that information. We try to make it as rich as we possibly can, and then we try to leverage it in as many places as we can.
I have a question for you. I kind of want to stir it up a little bit, if you're okay with that.
Okay, DJ, that's DJ's question.
Okay. Oh, he deferred.
All right.
Go ahead.
I think that's his version of phoning a friend.
Right? Should we review him on that? No, from a perspective of like service-based entrepreneurs and or where they have a hybrid business, say there's a tiny product and there's an e-commerce element, maybe a medium product. Well, all the data that you were giving us, my light bulbs are going off about, ooh, new revenue stream, ooh, new opportunity for, is there something like this? And maybe there is for service-based entrepreneurs, or there's a slew of artists, healers, coaches, whatever out in the world. And we don't really have a system that helps people feel secure in that decision. It's basically us talking to them. We use testimonials, but those can also feel non-authentic, or they just said that, so you'd bonus them something. And I'd love to have more of a solid, as a service-based entrepreneur, way to, even if, my product gets that kind of a review, but I'm not a full e-commerce site. Is there something in the works, or I'd love to hear your take on that.
Great question. I love that question. First of all,
not as bad as you thought, right?
No, that's easy. That's a softball.
That was tame.
That was a softball. First of all, we are a Google review partner and a Bing review partner. And we're also a Google review partner for both seller ratings and product reviews, and Bing for seller and product reviews. So we're one of two in the world that actually have all four of those accolades. But as a Google review partner, our reviews say verified review, which means the review is collected post-purchase. So you can't just go in there like an open review platform, a Yelp, for example, and randomly leave a review. So that verified review post-purchase tells the audience that this is a credible review. And they can actually read what verified review means. It means that you actually bought the product from this company. So that's point number one. Point number two, service-based businesses absolutely need reviews.
100.
Right? Personal services, home services, automotive services, medical services, whatever it is, because I'm putting my trust in you, the person, not the company, not the product, you, the expert, the roofer, the massage therapist, the dentist, what have you. We actually do have another company called Local Reviews that collects reviews for retail, brick and mortar, or service-based businesses. Now, a hybrid scenario. Let's say you're an accountant or a lawyer, and you're not selling a widget per se, but we could collect reviews following a survey completion or a form completion, because that is now a transaction. Money was not exchanged, but there was a transaction. So once that form is completed, they hit enter, we can pop a survey. So that can happen in an online, professional services type website. So there's hybrids, there's pure play brick and mortar, and there's pure play e-commerce. We can help in all three of those scenarios. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it totally answers my question. I love that. And I would love, in our business anyway, on the service entrepreneurial, but I'm a business coach, but to have a standardization of how we help people and legitimize that we're really who we say we are and we really do what we say we do. And everybody uses testimonials. So it kind of liquidates it a little bit versus like the science that you have behind this of, I'm actually a buyer. I made a decision and I took the time to write a verified review, not to mention the cost of advertising. If we can reduce that expense and increase revenue, then I want to play.
Absolutely.
Right? Which is what I'm hearing you say. This is really supportive of.
And in that scenario too, a video review is very, very powerful, because now we're connecting. We've got the body language, we have the facial expressions, which, back to psychology and subconscious thought process, goes way beyond the written word. Because as we all know, we communicate 90% with body language, facial expressions, right? That comes out in video reviews. So in that scenario, you could collect video reviews, or also known as video testimonials, that you can put on your website, on your YouTube channel. And those can be very, very persuasive and very powerful beyond the written word.
And run ads to them.
Yes.
Yeah,
and include them in ads. They can be an ad, actually.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was saying. So you guys are partners with specific platforms. Like, do you usually obviously suggest that to individuals? I'm sure most of your clientele at this point run ads to these video views as well.
You absolutely can, and people do, as well as the written reviews.
What have you seen, I guess, on the side of like, on a different side of it, like what's been the biggest like mistake you've seen with people collecting reviews?
I think the biggest mistake is people don't.
They're not collecting
they don't-
videos.
well, yeah.
There's the
They
first
don't
one.
collect all three types, but they don't do their homework because there's over 100 different review platforms out there, but there's only 12 that actually have the right partnerships. And so you have a 88% chance of getting it wrong if you don't do your homework. And
How long have you guys had these partnerships? How long did it take you? to
for a
build
long
these?
time. We've had our Google partner and Bing partnership for almost 10 years.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah. And they don't let anybody in anymore because
Credibility right there.
So, they just don't do their homework. And so they end up becoming an island. We call it becoming an island because they collect reviews, sure, and they put it on their website, which is great, but they don't leverage the power of those reviews as anywhere near the capability that's out there that they could. So I'd say that's probably the biggest thing that people miss out on.
Have you seen that with your clients? Like, is there certain industries that like perform better or work better with you, or are there like top performers? Like, you're like, they're all top performing.
Everybody needs reviews, right?
Like, what are the? Yeah, I'm just
But-
curious on like which industries might benefit the most, or that you've seen, or that you've helped.
I'm going to flip this a little bit because
Sure.
if you think about it, I just want you to go into your subconscious buying behavior.
Here's the behavior.
There you go.
I
You
like it.
probably look at reviews more diligently and more carefully and more strategically when you're buying something that's expensive, something that's going to affect your ego, your health, your wealth. If it's something to do with your lifestyle or something you're very interested in, let's say you're a golfer,
I am
a mountain biker, you're going to really, because mountain biking and golfing
I love golf.
are part of your lifestyle, right? So you want to
Ain't
make sure
cheap either.
it ain't cheap. You want to make sure you're getting the right product, the right accessories, et cetera, that are going to make you a better golfer, a better mountain biker, whatever the case may be. Those are very important because it's part of your lifestyle. That's your persona. That's your avatar. That's who you are. And so you don't want to buy something that's going to make you look like an amateur, right? So that social proof is very, very important on those types of products. Electronics, anything that's complicated, anything that you're only going to buy once. If you're buying oatmeal on Amazon, you don't probably care so much because you're going to buy it every month, right? But if you're buying it one time or rarely buying it, those reviews are absolutely critical. So if you think about your own online purchase behavior, that's exactly what you do if you think about it, right? Anything's expensive, affects your persona, your lifestyle, your health, your wealth. Those are going to be the things that you really
Add
care
one
about.
to your list. If you've ever been screwed, I guess.
Yes.
Right? Then you're really motivated.
Or I was
and
going to say,
strategic.
if you're
Yeah.
really relying on it, like for me, I break a lot of stuff on my bike all the time. And that means I'm like, I call somebody and they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm traipsing back 10 miles in the heat with my bike. So let's have a chat.
Again.
Now's the time to hit me with your questions, right? So I have to think about the durability of some of the stuff because I end up with the repercussions every
Exactly.
other month, or so.
Exactly. So Google calls it YMYL categories, your money, your life. Mountain biking could be your life because if you're stuck in the middle of the desert and you're out of water and you're traipsing back 10 hours or 10 miles and it's 120 degrees, that could affect your life, right?
Yeah.
So Google looks at the YMYL categories very, very specifically to make sure that those are the most trusted brands, social proof, reviews, ratings, credibility, authority, before they rank them at the top of the search results because they want to make sure you're not making a bad decision with your money, your life, your health, etc. So it all really comes down to authority, credibility, trust, expertise, which often surfaces through the volume and the quality and the process in which those reviews are collected and displayed.
How did you guys go about your pricing strategy, coming that you guys have such a background in understanding behavioral science?
Well, I mean, I think a lot of it's just supply and demand. And also as we've grown, we've added more products and services and strategy behind what we do, which increases the value of the services that we provide. Right now, we kind of offer an a la carte option and a package option. Because a lot of people don't need, especially when they're first starting out, they don't need all of the services we provide. So they can pick some of the beginning ones and then add more as they go. And then the package pricing, which once a company's established, we feel they need all of the things. And so that's more.
I'm like, I want to know what all of those things are.
There's a lot. Well, we put it all in our book.
That's what I thought about.
Funny you should ask.
About
Get the
Reputation
book.
King.
Yeah.
Like, I want to hear about it.
How did you guys structure your business model? Was it any different? You know, you guys are a SaaS, software as a service, so that's obviously implies a direction of a business model, and obviously some of the competitors are the same. But do you guys have a dramatically different business model than some of the other larger players?
We do, in the sense that we look at this not just from collect the reviews, check the box, which 90% of our competitors do. Their reviews were good. They don't look at the behavioral science of it. They also don't look at the SEO and the CRO component of it. I think at near the depth that we do. So we like to say that we live between SEO and CRO. SEO, search engine optimization, CRO, conversion rate optimization, because we can affect both. Being that Google and being partner, obviously our ratings and reviews are going to show up in the organic and paid search results, as well as the Google Shopping and the being paid and organic. But we also have another tool called Q&A. Our Q&A tool is a search optimized AI powered tool that takes your product questions and automatically optimizes those with the featured snippet schema markup to appear in the featured snippets. And if not there, they're going to appear in position 1, 2, or 3. They can also appear in multiples. So there's many scenarios where we have our own product questions appearing in the featured snippet. People also ask, as well as position 2 or 3. So we're basically dominating page 1 on a non-branded search question because of the SEO capabilities of that Q&A tool that creates a dedicated subfolder for that question, which is the H1, and then the answer, which can then be linked to multiple resources on your website, deep linking to product pages, blog articles, etc., creating a mini sitemap around that search topic.
Cool.
So then we can get that whole page 1 SEO automatically, by the way, without backlinks, without page authority, and without long form content. So it's a very agile SEO tool that helps create that online visibility, authority, credibility, and reputation. Because let's face it, we all trust and believe in the top search results. We don't trust or believe in the search results on page 2, which is why they get basically 0 clicks. 68% of all traffic goes to the top 5 search results. So if you're not in the top 5, you're basically gone. So we help you do that through the user-generated content, ratings, reviews, and the search optimized Q&A. So that's part of that overall strategy.
So Seth, while we're being technical, and obviously I'm a VC, so I think in terms of a lot of these kind of very technical things that make a huge difference in the outcome. You can have the same businesses with a different business model, and they're actually not even the same business, even though they might be in the same vertical, right? So you guys are a software as a service. One of the beautiful things about that is it's software essentially delivering the value. You have high margin because your cost of, internal cost for a particular delivering of that value is very low relative to whatever price you choose. The challenge with SaaS businesses, and obviously they're very attractive for investment and large exits, which is a whole nother conversation, is that you're basically taking a client and you're making the money over time instead of all at once. Now there's a beauty in that, but a cash flow management challenge very early on. So love to hear a little bit more about your strategy and the experience you guys had as you launched and as you were in your early years of the business, because SaaS businesses are actually very challenging in a lot of respects because the cash flow comes in as a stream and a trickle, not a roaring river in the beginning. And you have to kind of build that customer lifetime value, all those kinds of things.
Yeah. So we're a bootstrap company.
Love it.
And we hustled incredibly hard in the first years, to the point where we made the Inc. 500 2 years in a row. We had this awesome hockey stick. It was super fun. And then we were going so fast, we basically had to Frankenstein our software together to keep it
Duct
going.
tape, Band-Aids, chicken wire.
And so what happened is we had that hockey stick, and then we realized we were running into a lot of technical debt, marketing debt, staffing debt. Right?
Can you explain what technical debt is for everybody real quick?
Yeah. So basically, our software wasn't keeping up with with the capacity of what we needed.
Mhm.
And so we actually had to go back in and basically redevelop everything so that we could scale to the next level. A lot of money and a lot of time. And it's been a nightmare. It's taken us several years to be able to get out of it. And to go, and to build new technology too, right? Like new tools and things, because we have all this amazing strategy that we've implemented with behavioral design and things, and we are ready to take off to the next hockey
It's
stick.
a good kind of cautionary tale or learning for founders or small business owners that think growth at all cost, right?
Right.
Because there's limits to some of this stuff. When we do venture debt on a deal, like the founder has a decision to make. They're growing really, really fast, or they keep pouring every red cent into growth where it's like this, and then they come to us and say, I need your money to velocitize my company, or do I actually create something that's a little bit maybe more sustainable and I have a little bit more breathing room, right? So it's interesting to hear you literally say, yeah, it was amazing. We were growing and it was really hard because we had some tough decisions to make and some delayed gratification.
Since we're talking about money, how much does it cost for your startup? Just curious. How much did it cost you guys to start your company?
Oh, about 12 cents, didn't it?
We started super lean. We actually took the revenue from our website security company, TrustGuard, took all the profit and invested that into Shopper Approved.
Cannibalized us.
Okay.
We basically did. And that's what we did to grow it. So we were able to stay debt free, but it was almost at the cost of growing our other software company.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'd love to jump in and ask you about Reputation King, because
we
you've
would
been
love
talking.
to answer questions about it.
Well, you wrote this amazing book. You clearly have market authority in what you're doing and have built the partnerships that support that, but have this underlying layer of having really consciously thought about what the buying process is. And so what is that other piece, which is the other side of how you hold the reputation that people know, love, and trust?
Yeah. Thank you. That's a great question too. This is a passion product. We became enamored with behavioral design. I read a book called Online Influence by Bas Wouters, and he is a Cialdini certified coach, and reached out to him, as I do. I just reach out to people that I want to connect with, and we became friends, and Scott and I took the course and became certified in his program, and then we met Dr. Cialdini and became certified in his program, and now we're offering a course in the Cialdini Institute in online reputation management. The book was originally written to be a companion guide to the course for Dr. Cialdini's Institute. And as we got into it, we thought, there is a lot of really good information here because this is a complex topic. Yeah. It's not check the box. There are so many nuances and technologies and applications and gotchas and best practices and strategies to do and things to avoid. As Scott said earlier, you don't want to just sign up and get reviews and become an island that don't show up in search, that don't help your SEO, that nobody sees until they come to your website, which is going to be a small percent of the people actually looking for your product, category, or service. So there's all the gotchas. And so we actually sent this out to about 35 experts in SEO, CRO, behavioral design, e-commerce, CRO, et cetera. And they came back with this amazing feedback, which is all in the book, by the way, that said, anecdotally, I've been in this business for 20 years. I had no idea how rich this space was. All the things you can do with UGC, user-generated content, reviews, video reviews, product reviews, seller ratings, search optimized Q&A. They just didn't know because it's not their area of expertise. So they were guilty of checking the box and moving on. But as they read the book, they realized this is a rich body of knowledge, a rich body of information that we need to not only bring to our e-commerce websites, but as an agency or a consultant or a coach, bring to our audience because they're missing this opportunity to become a reputation king, which means what? Owning your reputation in your industry or space. So we like to call it becoming the WebMD of your space. If you do a health-related search, what do you find? You're going to find one of three: WebMD, or Mayo Clinic, or Cleveland Clinic. Am I right?
Yes.
Right. Those are the most trusted, search optimized websites that answer specifically and instantly your health related question. Whether it be, my toes are burning. What's that about? Can I take this prescription with that prescription? How does cinnamon help my blood sugar levels, right? Those are all the things that you're going to find in those sites. Well, our philosophy is, let's help every single e-commerce website in the world become the WebMD of their industry. So let's take mountain biking again. What if we could help a mountain biking site answer all the search questions about a product, an accessory, or a trail, or does this product work with this frame?
Or the durability, right?
Or the durability, or clothes, or right? Is it made out of polyester? What's the
Gotta look cute.
lycra mix, right?
Yeah, I got to look good.
Gotta look good. These are the questions that people have. These are buyer intent questions. And they're what we call low funnel, long tail, high purchase intent questions that, believe it or not, most e-commerce websites are missing out on because they don't know how to optimize for those search questions. They don't know how to get those at the top of page one. And then they don't know how to make those look credible and authoritative with the social proof and the ratings and reviews. So when you combine those things, you become a reputation king. So our whole thrust was, how do we help educate the market to become the reputation king of their space so they can own it? Now, I know you're into VC. McKinsey did a study, and they found that companies that have better reputations, whether it be brick and mortar or online, have a higher valuation.
Oh, yeah.
Lending is cheaper. Interest rates are cheaper. People are more likely to invest at a lower rate because it's lower risk, right?
Yep.
Because they know there's a lot of blue sky value in that company, i.e. reputation. So that is part of what we talk about is you really have to leverage your reputation in a multitude of ways. It's not just stars and ads. It's the soft things too, because lifetime value of a customer will increase if they trust you more. Conversion rate will go up, average order value goes up, and valuation goes up, and lending rates go down. So there's just so many good attributes that come with having a good reputation.
Yeah, it affects pretty much all of your KPIs in a
Yeah.
positive way, right? In
Yeah.
one way or another.
So where can people get the book? I guess
Okay,
would be
so-
the biggest question at this point.
We reached it. Okay, so the cool thing is this is hasn't been published yet. So
Oh,
this is
okay,
actually
okay.
the pre-release version,
Pre-release. Okay.
but we're actually giving it away for free to
Okay.
everyone.
I'll take one.
Yeah.
To everyone that listens to the podcast. So
Yeah.
if they go to reputationking.com/BYA,
I
they
love
can
that.
get the
Make
free
sure-
digital version and the free audio version.
Audio,
love that.
yes. Game on.
Yes.
Yes.
Mountain biking.
Well, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you guys joining us today. Like we could continue. I could just keep asking you questions on this part. For those you guys have shared such great knowledge with this in your company. And I'm actually excited. I'm going to just go talk to you guys after the podcast as well. But where can people go to, learn more about Shopper Approved? Okay, obviously we know where they can get the book from this show. And are there anything other exciting news or things that they can connect with coming up?
Go to shopperapproved.com.
Okay.
That's our main website. Reputationking.com is for the book. And we're going to be adding constant digital assets to that website. Videos, bonus chapters, checklists. By the way, we have a companion guide that's called the strategy guide that comes with this. It's a 12-page
That's awesome.
strategy guide on how to leverage your seller ratings, your product reviews, your video reviews, Q&A, et cetera, that comes with this. And that's going to be an organic, dynamic kind of community. We're also starting a podcast next month.
Yeah.
And so
Woohoo!
we'll be having a podcast hosted there as well. So we really hope it to be a place where people go on a regular basis to get updates on how to become the next reputation king in their industry.
I
Or
love
queen.
it.
Or
I love
queen.
it.
Or
Yeah,
queen.
yes.
King
Or queen.
queen.
Or queen. Or queen. Well,
It's
It's
gender
gender
neutral
non-binary,
now.
yes.
It's gender
Yeah.
neutral now.
yeah. Well, I appreciate you, DJ and Scott, for joining us today. For those of you that are watching, be sure to grab a copy of their book and check out their podcast when it releases. And we'll see you in the next episode.